Good morning, Spurs fans all around the world, and Tottenham are back in action tonight, and this time it's knockout football. Thomas Frank's men travel up to St James's Park for a huge Carabao Cup clash against a confident Newcastle United with a place in the fifth round on the line. And this one's going to be a real test for Tottenham tonight. Eddie Howe's side are flying right now. 4 wins in their last 5, and under the lights, St James's Park becomes one of the most intimidating atmospheres in the country. And Spurs have only beaten Newcastle once in our last 5 meetings, so if we want to progress tonight, we are going to have to earn it. But there is plenty of reason to be optimistic for Spurs fans tonight, because we head into this tie full of confidence after that emphatic 3-0 win away at Everton. A result that might just prove to be a turning point for Thomas Frank at Tottenham. And we're also still unbeaten away from home in all competitions. And if we can back it up tonight, there might just be a growing sense of belief behind Thomas Frank unanimously from the Tottenham Hotspur fan base. And Thomas Frank has also made no secrets of his ambition to bring silverware to Spurs, and the Carabao Cup represents a fantastic opportunity to do so. A chance to build on last season's Europa League success and instill that winning culture at Tottenham Hotspur. And with Chelsea coming up on Saturday, I do expect a couple of changes tonight. However, not a complete overhaul. So let's get into the lineup that I think Thomas Frank should go with tonight. Starring in goals, and Vicario has been absolutely outstanding lately and has to retain his place here tonight. I know some fans will want to see Kinski get minutes, but with reports suggesting concerns around his recent progression, this isn't the game to experiment. St James's Park will be loud. It will be one of the most intimidating atmospheres around the country under the lights, so Newcastle usually start fast and the pressure will be intense from the off, and you need a calm, experienced head in goal for that kind of environment, and Vicario fits that bill perfectly. Vicario's shot stopping has been the foundation of our recent away results. Think back to Monaco, his heroics that night. Everton pulled off crucial saves at crucial times, and we'll need more of the same tonight if we're going to withstand Newcastle's early barrage. Now, against Everton at the weekend, in possession, Thomas Frank ditched the 4-2-3-1 to a 5-2-2-1, and I think he should do the same here again tonight. So my formation is based off what I've seen in possession against Everton, and I thought it really worked. I thought it allowed us to get more bodies going forward, and I thought we were better in possession as well because we had more options breaking forward. And I think he'll probably do the same here again tonight, because for me, Newcastle's biggest area is their midfield. If they gain control of the game, it's going to be a long, difficult night, and they are going to look to start fast and aggressive. So for me, I think this would be the perfect formation and the perfect players within this formation to be able to get on top of that midfield, try and win the battle, and then take the game to Newcastle. Which means the 3 centre-backs will be Pedro Porro playing on the right, Kevin Danzo in the middle of the back three, with Mickey van der Ven coming in on the left. Now, with Pedro Porro, he did not have the best of games against Everton. He backed off far too often and allowed crosses to come in far too easily for my liking, something you just can't do against a side like Newcastle. He needs to be braver, more aggressive, and engage his man earlier. Offensively, we know what Pedro Porro offers. He offers quality delivery and link-up play down this right-hand side. But defensively, he has to tighten up tonight. Now, moving on to Kevin Danzo. What a fantastic performance away at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. 19 clearances, won every duel, and not a single foul committed on the evening. That's old school defending, the kind that the fan base absolutely loves, and he is grown into a cult favourite already. Tough, no nonsense, and most importantly, reliable. So he keeps his place tonight for sure, and we'll need another big performance similar to what he done against Everton at the weekend, because he will be up against Nick Voltamada, who is in fantastic form for Newcastle and is quite a handful. And when it comes to Mickey van der Ven, well, it is a Mickey van der Feast right now. 2 goals at the weekend, that makes it 5 in total for the season, and it feels like we are seeing a real leader emerge from amongst the pack. And with Romero not fully fit, Van der Ven will continue to wear the captain's armband in his absence. And look, it's fair to say, when it comes to selection across the back line, Frank's options are limited in terms of being able to rotate because of the injuries we have right now. However, Destiny Udogie and Christian Romero have been training on the grass ahead of this game. However, it's of my opinion that I think Frank will hold it back for the game against Chelsea at the weekend. Moving into midfield, and that double pivot of Bentancur and Paulinho must be rolled out again today. Now, I know many fans will be looking for rotation here. However, I think with the 2 experienced heads points here. I think it would be an absolute silly decision if Frank chooses to rotate one of these two, because for me, their experience in a very hostile away atmosphere like Newcastle United will be tonight will be absolutely crucial in managing this game, but also dealing with the atmosphere and how aggressive Newcastle will be very early on. I think if he puts in a Bergvall or even a Sarr in one of these deeper positions, I think their inexperience may very well come back to cost us or bite us very early on. Now, when it comes to Paulinho, he is the midfield enforcer. Paulinho's tackling numbers speak for themselves. I mean, 75% success rate last match, and his ability to be able to break up play and help to get the ball moving forward is absolutely vital. He'll be key in shutting down Newcastle's midfield tonight. It is their massive strength in terms of Goalkeeper, Joelinton, players like that breaking out from midfield, looking to feast on scraps around the edge of the box. Paulinho is going to be absolutely crucial in snuffing out that danger and also trying to stop Newcastle's early momentum that they're going to look to build from kickoff. When it comes to Rodrigo, Benton class, I mean, fans have wanted to see more attacking output from him, and he is delivering 1 goal and 1 assist in his last 3 games, and against Everton, he looked like the old Rodrigo Bentancur, calm and composed in possession and combative out of possession. Also, in recent games, we have seen him progress that ball an awful lot more as well, and he looked absolutely back to his best at the weekend. And his composure and ball progression are going to be absolutely vital against Newcastle's aggressive midfield tonight. We are going to need someone in there that can hold on to possession instead of just kicking it away, and Rodrigo Bentancur is the only guy that we have in the midfield that can do that, so he has to start again here tonight. Now, moving into my wing-back selections, and it is of my opinion that Jed Spence will retain his place here down the left-hand side. And I know there's going to be a massive clamour from France to give Archie Gray another opportunity after his performance away in Monaco, which was absolutely sensational. But against Anthony Elanga's pace down this side, I do feel like that Spence is the safer option if the aim is to go and win today's game. Gray just doesn't quite have that recovery pace that will be needed to be able to deal with Anthony Elanga's threat, which I think makes Spence the better option to be able to deal with that and neutralise that. And over on the right, I do think Kudus will be pushed back out. Now, Brennan Johnson actually had an okay game the other day against Everton. He tracked back, he got back, he made a couple of clearances in the box, and going forward, you know, he beat his man a couple of times, and I think many Spurs fans fell off their chair. However, it just wasn't anywhere near enough. No real moments of quality in terms of setting up chances, and defensively he just sort of shadowed Pedro Porro, shadowing Jack Grealish without actually getting any sort of pressure on the ball. You're not going to get away with that with Gordon down this side, and I do think because Mo Kudus' work rate is absolutely sensational, for me it makes sense to put him back down this side to be able to help out Pedro Porro, get more pressure on that ball. But equally, he is going to be so important in terms of an out ball option. There is going to be times where we're not going to be able to play through Newcastle's aggressive press, so having him and Jed Spence push nice high and wide, especially Mo Kudus, it will give us an option to be able to punt it out to him, and we know that he will be able to hold it up, get turned and drag Tottenham up the pitch single-handedly. And also, he's one of the only players so far still to produce a moment of quality in the final third. So again, we will be relying on him to carve out a couple of opportunities to be able to win this game. And then in the 2 number 10 roles that Xavi and Kudus played against Everton, I have gone with Lucas Bergvall and Pape Matar. Now, I know initially people will look at that and say, Dave, that there's not a lot of creativity in there. However, for me, I think the opening 15, 20, 30 minutes, we're not going to see an awful lot of the ball. We are going to be under sustained amount of pressure. Newcastle at home look to start fast. They look to start aggressive. They look to put you under early pressure and really build off the atmosphere that the crowd do generate. So for me, I think the opening 30 minutes is going to be an absolute battle, and you need players that are up for the fight. So I think it'd be a waste to start Xavi Simons, because I don't think the space or the time for him to be able to be on the ball is going to be there, which will limit his impact. I think he'd be better coming off the bench into a game later on where there will be more space and the game will be a little bit more stretched naturally because players are tired. So for me, I think you're going to need workhorses in there, because you've got Tonali, Goalkeeper, Joelinton. They are workhorses. They can all get stuck in, but most importantly, they can all play, and they are the basis of this Newcastle team. If they get going and they're on top of their opposition, generally Newcastle go and win games. So for me, the midfield battle is going to be important, and I just trust Bergvall and Pape Matar with their energy to be able to work back a lot more and help the likes of Bentancur and Paulinho, who may be a little bit leggy after the game on the weekend, but also to be able to go and put pressure on that ball, so we are just not sitting so deep inside the first 15-20 minutes. You are going to need players that are going to have the legs and the energy to go and press that ball, look to force Newcastle into mistakes, and maybe hit them on the counter. And I just think Bergvall and Pape Matar will give you that in spades here. Later on in the game, he can make substitutions or make alterations. He can bring Simmons in. He can take off a Bentancur or Paulinho, drop a Sarr further back or a Bergvall further back, bring in an Archie Gray. But for me, this game is all about the opening 30 minutes. If we can survive that, we give ourselves a foundation to be able to go and win it. So that's why I am going with this selection, or these four in and around the midfield. And then that does bring me on to the guy up front. And for me, Muani has to start again here tonight. Like I explained, I don't think this will be a free-flowing open game. It's going to be scrappy, physical, and probably fast-paced for the first 30 minutes or so. And that's where Muani's hold-up play and strength are so important. He gives us an outlet when Newcastle look to press us high and aggressive. At times we are going to have to go along, and Muani provides that outlet. Someone who can hold up the ball, relieve pressure by winning fouls, linking up play with others to be able to break on them. And if he can give us another solid 60 minutes, that could be enough for us to be able to get a foothold in the game, sustain the early onslaught that Newcastle are going to give us, and then bring on maybe a Richarlison or a Matisse Tell to try and go and nick a winner. But if we don't start with Muani and we end up starting with a Tell or a Richarlison, the ball is only going to come one way for the opening 30 minutes. So for me, this lineup is all about being able to sustain that 30 minutes, but also go and do a little bit different, freshen it up a little bit, plenty of legs, and go and look to put pressure on that ball rather than just drop deeper and deeper and deeper. So guys, that is my lineup for tonight. I know it's a bit out of the ordinary compared to what you're used to seeing. Let me know your thoughts on the formation, on the starting lineup. Also, if you could smash that like button, also hit that notification bell on your way out so you get kept up to date every match day with all our match day content that comes out with the pre-match build-up and also the watch along along with the post-match reaction. So guys, I'll see you back here for the pre-match build-up tonight. Big game tonight. It's Cup Day. I'm super excited. Us Spurs fans, we love Cup Days. We have an affiliation with the Cups. So hopefully we'll see each other in the 5th round. As always, come on you Spurs. In the Frank engine we trust.